Ladies and gentlemen, Peacemaker force field has finally been nerfed.
Come on! Yes!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Big Flounder, and today we're going to be discussing the new Mortal Kombat 1 patch. And this patch is honestly pretty nuts. They did a really good job at listening to the community, finding out which characters need to be buffed, and not nerfing too many characters that don't need it. The last couple patches have just been nerfs upon nerfs upon nerfs. This patch is a lot of buffs, and a lot of characters have some really interesting tools, along with some cameos. Some cameos got some really neat stuff, and some cameos might be being used a lot more in the meta. So, without further ado, let's go over today's patch notes. Kicking things off, we've got Geras, and Geras got some very interesting changes. Inevitable now has a 21 startup, or now has 21 startup frames down from 26. Pretty decent. Any kind of frame change like that is always good for a character. Timefall also recovers 2 frames faster, which is going to be very nice for Geras. Adjusted hit regions of Sandstorm, which is that little, like, when he does the sand tornado, it makes it easier to combo. So Geras' combos have been kind of buggy for a while. This should make them a lot more reliable and make a lot more sense. So that's very nice for Geras players. This is the buff that has me the most interested. Increase the maximum range that his fatal blow can teleport. That one sounds absolutely awesome for Geras, because now he has some real good anti-zoning options, depending on how far the teleport can go. We're going to test out some of the most important changes in training after we go over this, so stay tuned if you want to see how these changes actually look in-game. Next up, we finally have some Havoc buffs, though I will say, don't get your hopes up, Havoc mains. These are kind of the weirdest things I think they could have buffed on Havoc. They're literally like, he used to have a, I don't know, a stick. Now he has a spork, you know? They gave him a little bit more punch. So his back kick and his front kick have new frames. Back kick recovers 1 frame faster. Front kick now has 13 startup frames. I don't think I've ever used these moves online ever as a Havoc player, so we're going to see. Maybe these buffs make these moves worth using. We'll see. We'll find out. Drop Dead also got a little buffed for the low attack on the forward front punch, front kick thing, which is actually a really substantial buff. It isn't unsafe anymore. It now recovers 15 frames faster and has 10 less frames of block stun, which that is going to be pretty damn good for mix-ups. This will make Scorpion a way better cameo, and will make a certain cameo that we'll go over in the future a lot better as well, because a new cameo got a overhead. So we're going to go over that in a second. Johnny Cage actually received some nerfs that are really good. If you know anything about the pro scene and how like the top tier Johnny Cage players have been playing, Johnny Cage's parry has been an absolute, like, menace. It's been one of the most annoying abilities for every single top-tier player to deal with, because it just ruins any string with a gap in it. Now, that no longer works for, like, a majority of the cast. The parry has 8 startup frames, and the enhanced parry has 4 startup frames, up from 0. So it's no longer a, like, sure you can. You can actually hit him before he uses that, which is very nice. And it has more recovery frames. Show off and enhanced show off can no longer be delayed, which very nice. That's going to make the parry a lot easier to deal with. And shadow kick and enhanced shadow kick now have 10 startup frames, which is 2 more. Okay, and 2 more frames of recovery. That is going to make it a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie. Like shadow kick is going to be hopefully a little bit easier to punish now, but all in all, it's like 4 frames that we're getting, so it should, we'll see how that ends up for most characters. I know the characters I play are very slow, so it's still going to be hard for them to like react to that, but it doesn't matter. I'm just happy we're finally getting nerfs for this character, because he's been top 1 for a bit too long. Katana also received a buff, reduce the combo damage scaling of Square Wave and Enhanced Square Wave. I believe that how this is worded means that if you use Square Wave and Enhanced Square Wave in a combo, it will like, it's not going to scale as hard, so you're going to be able to do a little bit more damage, which good buff for Katana players. I'm not sure that she needed the buff, but it doesn't matter. Li Mei also got some buffs. Li Mei has quicker startup frames on back kick, back punch, front punch, Pancration Champion, which is pretty good. Anytime, like I said, anytime you get new frames, it's going to help your character out pretty decently. Sky Lantern, also, when she throws her lantern in the sky and jumps up and shoots it, it's a mid now, which it should have been a mid in the first place. It like covers the whole screen, so that's a pretty good buff to Li Mei's zoning, which is an interesting buff, and it's going to make it kind of scary. It also does more pushback and is just better on block in general. And Lion's Pounce, Li Mei's little like front flip drop kick, has 3 more active frames and recovers 7 frames faster. So it's gonna be like out there for longer. It's gonna be way meatier and recovers 7 frames faster, which is very nice. Li Mei now has a very good option with this dropkick. Nitara also got a very interesting buff. We're gonna have to see how the best Nitara players handle this buff because it's kind of unique. Must feed can now be 2-in-1 canceled and does 20 less damage. I'm honestly not too sure what that even means, but we're gonna see what Nitara players can cook up. That's gotta be some sort of like just crazy shit. This character is gonna have some Marvel vs. Capcom techniques now, so we're gonna see how she's doing. Reptile also got some better frames. His devastating blow, which I'm pretty sure is his uppercut, or not his uppercut, his overhead, now recovers 4 frames faster and 5 more frames of block stun, meaning this move, which was already kind of nuts in terms of block stun if you fully charged it, is going to be really good for setting up his lows, or really good for just setting yourself up in general and having plus frames. And now if you charge it, it also recovers 5 frames faster. So you're going to be able to frame trap with this move way easier, and Reptile is going to be a bit of a menace. Reptile's low string also recovers 3 frames faster and now has 5 more block stun frames. So Reptile's little low is also going to be better and better at frame trapping. I'm not sure about frame trapping because that move's a little bit like... I'm not sure if it's as safe as the overhead or as plus as the overhead, but it's still going to be pretty decent now, especially with this buff. Acid Spit, Enhanced Acid Spit Ball, and Enhanced Acid Spit Ball now have 5 more block stun frames. So Reptile is just going to be block stun all of the time. You're going to be just sitting there blocking Reptile for quite some time, so... These buffs, I'm kind of nervous to see how they work, because Reptile has been a scary character for me in Combat League in general, but... this is going to make him even scarier. Now the Sub-Zero mains can finally rejoice. Sub-Zero has been buffed, and these are actually some pretty good buffs, I'm not going to lie. Freezing Point toward front punch, back punch, front kick is now -7 on block, down from -12. Now it's safe. It is now a safe move. Your best mid is now safe, which is pretty nice. It's definitely going to be some pretty good just damage, or not damage, pretty good, I don't know, safety overall. You're going to be able to cancel into the full string a lot more now, and that's just going to be nice. It's going to be very nice for Sub-Zero, and I like that buff. Blistering Blizzard, which is Sub-Zero's best combo tool, now recovers 2 frames faster and has consistent combo damage scaling. That's awesome. That means that Sub-Zero's damage is going to come back. His damage has always been a little bit lackluster ever since the game fully released. So I'm excited that Sub-Zero is getting a little bit more damage. I think these buffs are going to make Sub-Zero pretty good. Scorpion's Knee also has better frames, and Scorpion's Fire Pillar Thrust, which is, I'm pretty sure it's that new string he got like last update, now has 18 startup frames down from 19. Pretty good. I mean, I guess it's going to be a little bit quicker. I'm not sure how great these buffs are going to be for Scorpion, but I'm honestly not too sure. It seems like this is just kind of like, I don't even know what this is going to do for him. Like, I will say that Scorpion didn't really get shit here from what I could tell. If any Scorpion players are like gonna correct me in the comments and call me stupid and these are the craziest buffs ever, just let me know. But from what I can tell, these are just... Now we finally come to the best part of this patch. Peacemaker has finally been nerfed to a point where it will actually matter. Human Torpedo actually received the nerf it deserved. They made sure that, like, it being a high, it's still punishable now. Now it has a lot more recovery, a lot more frames, so it's gonna be difficult for Peacemaker to just spam torpedoes all game like he's been doing. It also doesn't even cause the stumble animation, so it's gonna be really difficult when just to do anything if you want to spam this move like you used to. But Kano should still make it safe. Beautiful Bird Bullet, which is Peacemaker's low eagly, now has 10 less frames of block stun with less pushback on block. Do you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? That means that Peacemaker's low is punishable by a majority of the cast now. That is very good. I am very excited to see this nerf because that low is just, it's been a disgusting tool for quite some time. Ground Air Offensive also has 5 less frames of block. Cool. Activate Force Field now has 30 more frames of recovery. Half a second of recovery. So you can't just spam this attack now as Peacemaker and intertwine it with your zoning. You actually have to use it as a reaction tool. Thank God. This is going to be a great change, and I'm so happy to see this finally. They're nerfing this stupid tool finally. Also, anti-gravity's attack does less damage on block, which is also cool because Peacemakers have been shipping people out just to kill them like every single game with that move. That move has been so dumb. You can't even flawless block or up block it to survive. Now we move on to the cameos, and this one is very interesting. Sonya has 25 startup frames on leg grab. It hits overhead now, and it's +1 on block. So Sonya just went from like a cameo that no one's gonna use to potentially like S tier. She has an overhead, really good combo extensions, and that really good ring tool if you're a zoner to just keep your opponent just like in nothing but block stun from that range. Sonya is gonna be seen, I think, quite frequently now. I'm kind of scared to see what Sonya's gonna cook up. Any character that doesn't have an overhead is going to benefit from Sonya's leg grab 100%. Striker also got a bug fix, but really the real change that's interesting with Striker, ever since they nerfed the shit out of him, no one's been using him. Cuffed, his restand move, now has 9 less frames of recovery on miss, +1 on block, and Striker reaches slightly further. This move has always been kind of weird when you're trying to use it in combos, like it always just misses for some reason. This should hopefully help that and make sure it doesn't happen anymore. Very nice. This is a great change for Striker. I've been wanting them to change something about Striker that wasn't his grenades. This is a good change. Also, the fact that there's +1 on block now is just great. I really like them adding all these +1 on block moves for these cameos because it makes them a lot stronger. Motaro also got an adjustment. His teleport's been very wonky. They fixed it. They made it a little bit better. That's nice. And the big one, another big one, is Movado now has 50 more health. Movado used to take like 100 of your health off, which was very stupid. Now he only takes 50, which is great because they nerfed the hell out of his damage. This buff should have happened when they nerfed his damage. Movado is now going to be a worth it cameo again. I'm probably going to end up playing some Havoc because while they did give him some kind of minuscule buffs, the Movado buff is actually a buff to Havoc. It's a true buff to Havoc. So this patch overall, very good. I am very excited about all the things that they've changed. However, there are 2 things that are substantially missing. And I definitely noticed this. This is one of the first things I noticed when I read these patch notes is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a very glaring elephant in the room missing here. Where the hell is Chameleon? Where's Chameleon? Why aren't we getting some sort of cooldown nerf to Chameleon? And if the strategy is, let's try to get every cameo as strong as Chameleon, first of all, please let us know. But second of all, step it up. Step it up. Because there's a lot of cameos that aren't there yet. The Sonya buff is awesome, but there's a lot of other cameos that need help. Also, I do notice there's no Kenshi nerfs, which is kind of interesting. Sento has definitely been one of the scariest tools in the game, but we haven't seen him, I guess, too much in tournaments. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you never really know. I mean, I feel like Kenshi could use a bit of a chip damage nerf. Or not a chip damage nerf. They kind of already did that. I feel like they could remove his overhead entirely in Sento stance because that would be very nice for the character and would make him a lot more fair when Sento's out. But I'm not going to complain too much. This patch is fucking awesome, and everything they've got on board here, on page here, sounds great. This makes me excited to play the game again. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into Mortal Kombat 1 and show you guys what these changes actually look like in-game. Alright, so first on the chopping block, let's go ahead and test Geras' Fatal Blow range. I'm very curious to see what they did to it. Okay, so Geras now has like the best fatal blow in the game. If you catch somebody in a projectile at all, let's say I'm Reptile here, hold up. Let me walk back here. They just die. Alright. Well, that's great to know, Geras players. I'm sure you guys will be very happy with this buff. Okay, so now we've got these Havoc buffs. Let's go ahead and check them out. Okay, I'm still never going to use those moves ever. They're both highs, and they're both horrible. Great to know. Now, this is the one that might actually make things interesting. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I will say that much. I will agree that that's pretty good, because what you can do there is you can either go for the mid or go for the low. That's pretty nice. I'm a big fan of this buff. I think this will actually be pretty good for Havoc. I'm happy to see this. I kind of wish that they just made this move a bit faster. I think that's the buff that needs to happen. Like, if this was like a frame or two quicker, his mid, I think that would be great. I think that would be a great change for Havoc, and if that were to happen, I probably wouldn't ever complain about Havoc again, truth be told. This character just solely relies on this string, and I'm definitely going to use this string a lot more now, though, so that's good buff. For the Johnny changes, I don't really know Johnny Cage that well, but I'm going to go ahead and shout out, I've shouted this person before, but Aziz on Twitter has made like a whole video showcasing a bunch of matchups that Johnny Cage cannot counter in anymore. So if you guys are interested in finding out anything about Johnny Cage's parry, I definitely recommend going on x.com. Go look at Aziz. He makes wonderful Mortal Kombat content. Now let's go ahead and go over the Reptile changes. His overhead has got some pretty good pushback on block 100%, and if you charge it, I mean, it's +2 and it just pushes them back very far. Honestly, this might be not that good for Reptile, or you would think it wouldn't be that good for Reptile, but he's still able to go use that low right afterwards. So this is very good for Reptile and makes his offense even scarier. If he's able to get off one of these charged heavies, which you're usually able to do when you're invisible, I mean, good luck. And now this move is -5 on block. This is a very scary tool for Reptile. I get hit by this all the time for some reason. You can even combo into Scorpion with this tool. So seeing that this move is -5, very scary, obviously. Like, very scary, dude. Except we have the Peacemaker nerfs, and now it is way easier to counter this eagle. It is way easier. It is an easy punish, and it is very difficult for Peacemaker to just throw this out whenever he wants. It is going to be very fun to fight Peacemaker now, I'll tell you that much. Also, Torpedo no longer does like a stumble animation on block, so this is going to be insanely easy to punish now. I mean, we're talking like, it's not even like hard for any character anymore. Finally, Force Field just has so much recovery now. Like, let's say I know he's gonna Force Field here. I'm pretty sure I can stop him mid Force Field if I know he's waiting for it. Hang on, let me get a perfect Homelander run in. Damn it. Come on. Yep, I can counter Force Field now. It is not nearly as quick as it used to be. This move is way slower. So that's going to make Homelander Peacemaker zoning a lot worse, which thank the Lord, hallelujah. I was so sick of this move, and I'm so happy to see it get nerfed to the ground. Now we have the Sonya change, and we were just going over Havoc, the fact that you have this low now. This low is actually a scary tool. Well, now if you bring Sonya on Havoc, it's actually worth it, because instead of going low, now I go overhead. And that makes everything a little bit scarier for any character who doesn't have an overhead, like I said. I now have a very quick mix-up on this tool, which will be pretty nice for any character like Havoc who needs an overhead in their arsenal. And finally, just look how nice it is to finally have 1050 on Havoc with Movado. It is so nice to finally have not regular health pool when I have Movado. I'm very excited to just not be severely nerfed when I use this cameo. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Mortal Kombat 1 new patch. And like I said, I'm actually very excited about this patch. Netherrealm Studios, I doubt anybody from Netherrealm Studios watches my content. I'm pretty small. But if anybody's seeing this, great job. Great job. I know I've been on a tinge of being upset with you guys recently because you've been nerfing my character, but thank you. This is an incredible patch. I can already tell that every character, like, this is the right direction. Every character that you guys buffed needed buffs, and this truthfully is the right direction. I really do like the fact that every character is getting more buffs and we're getting nerfs. So thank you guys at NRS for just opening your hearts and giving us this awesome balance patch. With that being said, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please do my channel a huge favor. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It will just help boost me to the algorithm and really just help my channel out a lot. You know how YouTube works. So I make Mortal Kombat content, and I also stream every single night on my YouTube and Twitch channel. So if you guys are interested in that, Twitch will be linked in the bio below, as well as my Discord server where I post updates and things going on. If I can't stream for some night, which I usually stream every single night, I'll usually post it up there in the Discord. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.